What's up, guys? It's Cole Pearson here, and this is basically, the first installment of my new podcast series. I don't know if the audio might not be the best on this one because I haven't really gotten the right equipment for this yet. This is really just experimental because I don't know if you guys are gonna like it, how people are gonna react to it, but I thought it would just be a great idea for the channel because I love sports. So basically, I haven't really come up with a name for this podcast either yet, so ideas are flowing through my mind, but basically what this podcast is going to be about is that whatever sport is in season or whatever sports news has been going on at the time, I'm going to just talk about it and give you my opinion. This is all my opinion, not facts. Some of them might be facts, but this is an opinion-based show. So sometimes I might have people come on here. So we'll just talk. And so first order of business right now, it is the baseball season, which means a lot of people are going to be playing fantasy baseball, which I know I am. I'm going to be playing in a head-to-head league, point-based. So there's category-based and point-based. I'm doing it where the players score points. And basically, in my league, pitchers score a lot more points than hitters do. So with the first overall pick, I'm going to go with Garrett Cole. He just seems to have the best promise, especially with the new Yankees squad. I know that left field porch is the home run porch. It's going to be Garrett Cole might be allowed a little more home runs, but home run is only -1 point, so nothing too insane about that. Last year, Garrett Cole put up the second most points in all of fantasy over pitchers and hitters. We got 730 behind Justin Verlander's 734, but with Verlander, I don't like. Not a big Astros enthusiast, especially with the conflicts with the whole cheating scandal. I know it wasn't the pitchers involved, but I want to see how the new coaching and the new players and the new, environment is gonna play out for Verlander. He's definitely a Hall of Famer, without a doubt. Michael Down is one of the best pitchers of all time. I just don't think he's gonna have a great year this year. I don't know why, but I really like Garrett Cole. Doesn't allow a lot of hits. 20-5 last season with a 2.5 ERA, 0.89 WHIP, and 326 strikeouts. It's absolutely filthy stuff. With the first overall pick, I'm definitely gonna go with Garrett Cole. And I don't have another pick till 16, so I don't know what I'm gonna do. But I really like DeGrom. If you guys want to go DeGrom's a great choice, especially the Mets field. It's more of a pitcher's park, I'd say. Last season, 11-8. I don't really care about record that much because if the team's not doing well, then what can you do about it? He won the Cy Young Award with an 11-8 record, 255 strikeouts, a 2.43 ERA, and a 0.97 WHIP. Third best pitcher last year in terms of fantasy pointages. Max Scherzer's always a great option. Probably the best pitcher in the MLB right now, other than Garrett Cole. Great choice. Strasburg just signed a new massive deal with the Nationals, staying with the Natties. Former World Series champions, World Series MVP as well. For relievers, Josh Hader could be a great guy. Chapman, Kirby Yates had a great year last year. Roberto Osuna, Jansen. Relievers are a make or break thing because they get a lot of points, 5 points per save, and the league I'm playing in. So basically, if you want to go get a good reliever, you got to go get it early. I know Hader's a great choice with a 37 saves last year, 138 strikeouts, a 2.62 ERA, and a 0.89 WHIP. It's absolutely filthy stuff right there. Definitely, the chance is open, and I'm definitely gonna pick him if the opportunity is available. Here's some guys with some upside. We're talking pitchers here. We'll go to hitters next. That might be some underdogs, some sleepers in the draft per se. I'm scrolling through the pitchers right now. I really like Patrick Corbin. He's got some swing and miss stuff for sure. Luis Castillo coming off a great year last year, especially with the new and improved Reds team. They're going to be pretty nasty this year. Chris Paddock had a great year last year, but they put him on an innings limit due to past injuries. So, watch out for that. But if he plays just like he did last year, watch out. Ohtani is a great choice because he can hit and pitch. So, on the days he doesn't pitch, you can slide him right into your lineup, and you're great right there. Corey Kluber, He didn't play much last year, but 2-3 record, 38 strikeouts, a 5.8 ERA. So not obviously Corey Kluber stuff, but this year he got traded to the Texas Rangers. Some more relievers. Will Smith is a great choice, especially Mike Soroka. Really like this dude for the Atlanta Braves, and he seems like a great choice. 13-4, 2.68 ERA, 1.11 WHIP. Tyler Glasnow. He had a great season last year until he had a wrist injury, and he's a wrist injury right now, but he had an injury last year as well. So the pitchers, Madison Bumgarner could be a sleeper with the new Arizona Diamondbacks going to the division rival, one of the division rivals with Madison Bumgarner. So I'd say if you have a top 5 pick and the players are still on the board, you definitely want to go Garrett Cole. Maybe a guy like Scherzer, maybe a guy like DeGrom. Those are all first-round picks, in my opinion. Maybe even Walker Buehler. And so let's go over to the hitter side. So for my league, here's will put up as much points, but always gotta have some good batters. So I know Trout's gonna go up there. Christian Yelich scored the most points for a outfielder last year, so he might be a nice pickup. Acuna going for a 50-50 season this year, 50 stolen bases, 50 home runs. Definitely possible. This guy's a young stud. But some sleepers might be Juan Soto, one of the younger guys in the league. He's just a stud. Might be the next face of the league. Rendon coming with a new team. Gleyber Torres might be a good option. Rafael Devers. I wasn't a big Devers enthusiast coming into last season, or during the season, but now, looking at the stats, he had a great year. 32 home runs, 115 RBIs, batted .329. That's a great choice. I think it is. So for fantasy baseball, you might want to go Castellanos. You want to look for guys with new teams, see how they might fit in the lineup. Like a guy like Yasmani Grandal with the White Sox, he should bat decently high in the order, probably top 6, top 5. He's definitely probably going to bat top 5. So, a lot of RBI opportunities there with that young White Sox lineup. They look very promising. Who else is with the new team? Marcelo Zuna with Atlanta. Decent home run hitter. Doesn't hit for too much average. Starling Marte coming in Arizona. He wasn't a bad pickup. See, and you don't want guys that strike out a lot. So for me personally, I'm not going to go with a guy like Stanton, Judge, Baez even, with my hometown guy, just because they strike out way too much. And they're going to take some points. Maybe even Chris Bryant, he strikes out a decent amount. So you don't want a lot of strikeout guys. Because they hurt you. They hurt you pretty bad. So that's enough with the fantasy section right now. Now we're going to go into MLB trade rumors. Let me pull that up right now. MLB trade rumors. I'm so excited for this season, man. Can't wait. I'm gonna see how my Cubbies are gonna do. I don't know, man. David Ross is the new manager. A lot of new interesting managerial pickups, just not for the Cubs, just all around the league. Especially with Carlos Beltran having to leave the Mets. That's very interesting to me. So MLB trade rumors. I know for sure Arenado is in talks. There's some Arenado talks. Obviously, it's like that. Seems like every offseason for the past couple of years. Chris Bryant, I know the Cubs are in talks with the Phillies, the Nationals, and the Rangers. Seem like the front runners to get him. Kevin Pillar signed with the Red Sox. Actually finished 10th in MVP voting last year in the NL. It's kind of funky to think about, but he didn't have a terrible year out in San Francisco. So MLB trade rumors. Sorry, it's taking me a while to get it picked up. Yeah, Cole Hamels is injured. Sorry, I'm just looking at all these news, especially with the new playoff format. Let's talk about that. Sorry, I'm kind of all over the place with the new podcast thing. Just trying to get the hold of it, but the new MLB playoff format. I kind of like the formatting of it, adding new teams. I'm perfectly fine with expansion. Just picking your own team, I just think is not very MLB-like. And Robert Manfred, I saw a video recently of Trevor Bauer going off on Robert Manfred. And I agree with him. I think he's correct on every aspect. If you guys don't, I'll leave a link to that video in the description, obviously. But the new playoff format, basically, it shows they added two new more wild card teams. There's two extra wild card teams, and basically the opponents pick. So the higher seeds pick who they want to play. I just don't think it's a good choice for the MLB. And the one seed has 7 days off in between. So 7 days isn't always the best for the pitchers. Their arms might go cold. The hitters aren't used to really facing live pitching after a whole week. Because, these MLB players are on that everyday grind. So, like, a week off could be might be like after the All-Star break. After the All-Star break, the players get maybe in a little bit of a slump after not seeing pitching after the break. But, yeah, let's go to some free agent signings and some who I like with new teams, how I think they're going to fare. So right now, let's look at some players in the league who just signed. We'll go to the pitchers first. What new pitchers are with some new squads? Obviously, there's the Corey Kluber trade. I think he's going to do well in Texas. I think they're going to have a great year with that young lineup. Joey Gallo, Rougned Odor, he'll punch you. Hyunjin Ryu had a great season last year with LA. Now he's going up north to Toronto. Number 12 ranked pitcher in last year in all fantasy points. 4-year, $80 million deal. I think he'll play well in that ballpark. It's not too kind to hitters with that big wall out there in the outfield. Madison Bumgarner, obviously, we just went over him. Not a great season last year. Bit of a trash talker. But again, that all those dome stadiums, I feel like, aren't really, they're more of a pitcher park. So Bumgarner in Arizona should be great. Great to see. And he can also hit, too. Bumgarner's probably the best hitting pitcher in the league, other than Ohtani, obviously. So, if he's starting with the pitching spot, you would expect maybe a hit or two, maybe an RBI here and there. Wouldn't be a terrible choice at all. Max Fried, he's not with a new team, but 17-6 last year. Wow. And so, he's a great choice. Maybe a sleeper for fantasy, obviously. Who was I looking at? Sorry, Zach Wheeler signed a massive contract in Philadelphia. It seems like this guy, he has a lot of potential, a lot of potential behind him, but he never really proves it. Number 28 pitcher last year in all fantasy points, which isn't terrible for starters and relievers, but 5-year, $118 million with the Phillies, but is getting paid over there. Look at some new pitchers. I'm sorry about this. Kenta Maeda with the Minnesota Twins with the new trade deal. So Kenta Maeda, last year 10-8, 3 saves. Very interesting. He's a starter and a reliever, which could prove beneficial if you want some saves here and there. 169 strikeouts, 4.04 ERA. Isn't the worst, but not top notch. 1.07 WHIP. Dallas Keuchel to sign with the White Sox after he sat out a little bit of more than half the year last year. Same with Kimbrel. They signed around the same time. Dallas Keuchel, Southpaw, going to the south side of Chicago against my team's rivals. It's not great. White Sox making a lot of good moves this year. Really like where they're heading. Same with the Reds, man. All the Cubs rivals are making moves. Well, Cubs have been pretty quiet. Same with the Cardinals. Cardinals have been pretty quiet as well. So with that, Marcus Stroman as well. He hasn't been great in the past couple years, but he just avoided arbitration, signing a 1-year, $12 million contract. A lot of underrated guys on the moves this year. Not too many big name guys, like big name besides Garrett Cole and Rendon signed this offseason. But we'll keep going. Rendon, obviously, top 3 third baseman in the league. Maybe even the number 1 third baseman in the league. Very, very guy. If you guys are playing in fantasy leagues this year, this is just my opinion. If you don't want to listen to me, go right ahead. And if I'm wrong, sorry. But I recommend you to stay away from Houston Astros hitters because you don't know how they're going to do without their scandalous things. You know how they're going to hit at home. away. I saw a demographic on Instagram that showed Astros hitters at home during the World Series were hitting like 600, and away they were only hitting below 150. All their top hitters. It's gonna be very interesting to see how they do this season. Who's with the new team this year? Machado, he's not with the new team, but decently new. Second year with the squad. I like the Padres. Padres have a promising young roster with Tatis, who should steal a lot of bases this year. He's got to work on his throw accuracy, but who do I think is going to underperform this year? Let's do that. Underperform in fantasy and just in real life. I think Bryce Harper, most overrated player in the league. Do not like Bryce Harper. Talks too much trash. And my opinion about him. I think Alex Bregman's a great player, but I think he's overhyped. He's not overrated because people think he's better than Rendon. I've heard people say I don't think that's true. Great hitter in the field. He's decent. Arenado, obviously. I wouldn't pick Arenado this year just because you don't know what he's going to do with the team. He might get a mid-season trade or make a trade before the off-season starts. So I think he's going to underperform this year with all the conflicts going with him. I hate to say this, but I really like Josh Bell, but I feel like he kind of went through like almost a fluke season. I don't want to say that because I really like him, but I don't see him doing anything extra special this year. Cooled off towards the end of last year. He had a really nice start. Giancarlo Stanton, guy, I think he's very overrated. Strikes out way too much. Hits home runs, but everyone in New York's hitting home runs. Who else is gonna underperform? Sorry, who's overrated? Tommy Pham, man. They're ranking Tommy Pham high. I saw this Instagram post from MLB ranking him like a top 30 player in the MLB. Tommy Pham, no way. No, sir. Batting under 70 runs a year. Who's some young guys? We'll do that. We'll go through some young, promising players that you could take a risk on. Luis Robert is he's one of the MLB's probably top 5 prospects. Number 1 prospect in the White Sox organization. Going off in AAA. Who's some other young guys? Tatis, obviously. Got hurt at the end of last year, but he's always a great option. Pete Alonso broke the rookie home run record with 53 home runs last season. Wow. And a stolen base. That gets you 1 fantasy point right there. Yordan Alvarez obviously had a crazy year last year. American League Rookie of the Year. And he didn't make it to the league till mid to late June. He hit 27 home runs. It's crazy. Batted .313 out in Houston. But, it could be a fluke with the old cheating scandal, the scandalous things they got going over there. But guy like Kyle Schwarber, I love him. He's on my team. Strikes out a lot, so wouldn't be my top option in fantasy. This is going to be a more of a fantasy based episode because fantasy season's coming up, and I'm just going to give you guys some advice. Gavin Lux, obviously, he's MLB's number 1 prospect, and he's expected to start at second base for the Dodgers this season. So, he's I wouldn't say he's a risk, but he's a promising young guy. Brian Reynolds, he's not real young, but Brian Reynolds had a pretty good year last year. Batted .316, 16 home runs. So, got an average guy. Same thing with Joey Votto. Proves consistent, never really strikes out. So you won't lose many fantasy points this year. Oh my God, sorry. He might not be able to produce the most amount of points, but he's always going to be the guy that you can trust to at least put something on the board. Will Smith, young catcher for the Dodgers. They called him up last year as the catcher for the Dodgers. And Dodgers have a solid team, man. I can't see anybody beating them. Aristides Aquino, would not choose him. Big power guy, but with the strikeouts, it's either strikeout, home run type of guy like Stanton, Aaron Judge. So, I don't like those kind of guys. I like them on my team, not my ball club and on my fantasy team. You know what I'm saying? Miguel Andujar, Didn't play much last year. He scored -2 fantasy points all of last year. That is rough. Now I'll go through some old guys. Let's go through some old guys that might be able to put up some good years. Cole Calhoun, Michael Conforto might be a nice pickup. Some underrated players. Remember some underrated sleeper guys. Josh Donaldson within his squad. Forgot about him going to Minnesota. The Minnesota team's got nice and young squad. Marcus Semien, the #1 ranked shortstop all of last season. 33 home runs. He finished third in the AL MVP race. Bo Bichette. Bo Bichette's got a promising young future. Mike Moustakas with the new squad. Yohan Moncada would be a great option. Justin Turner, Lorenzo Cain. Alright, that's enough for fantasy talk. I'll find something else to talk about. It's just a trial run for my podcast. So, let's go through some new managers. New MLB managers in the league. Obviously, Joe Madden going back to the Angels, who was with probably 40, 50 years ago. Obviously, the Cubs signing former catcher David Ross, Grandpa Rossi. He's a great choice. Red Sox just got a new interim manager, Ron Roenick, after the departure of Alex Cora. I do not like what the Red Sox are doing. Seems like they're tanking this year, so. I don't know, it's 2 short years after they just won the World Series, It's unfortunate what happened to that team. Oakland Athletics with Bob Melvin, he might be new. I don't know. Blue Jays got a new guy, Charlie Montoyo. Cubs, obviously, with David Ross. New York Mets, Luis Rojas, after the departure of Carlos Beltran, after they mutually agreed to depart. So, that's what we got for managers right now. I'll go through my MLB predictions. That's what I'll do for the season. Standings, some underrated, some sleepers, maybe some playoff predictions. So right now, MLB preseason predictions. I have these pre-planned. Thought it'd be great thing to have on the first installment of podcast to be named later. So I just threw in some random records, but the records aren't really matter right now. It's more the orders of the teams. So for the NL, we'll start with the NL first. From the NL East, I have the Nationals coming in first place with a 105-57 record. I don't see them going anywhere after their big World Series win. Of course, they lost Anthony Rendon, but that pitching staff is way too good. I can't see anyone coming close to them. But in the two seed in the NL East, I have the Atlanta Braves coming with a record of 92-70. I have them making the wild card game. Acuna, Albies, Mike Soroka, Foltynewicz from my hometown. So, promising young team. And the third best team from the NL East, I have the Philadelphia Phillies finishing with an 81-81 record. The Phillies, they signed Zach Wheeler to a massive contract, but I don't think their lineup has enough willpower to, get through those powerhouse teams in the NL especially. So don't see them doing anything. The number 4 team, I have the Miami Marlins finishing with a 79-83 record, significantly better. This is kind of like it's kind of weird to see like a hard take with the team being the 4 seed with being 2 games under 500. But after how bad of a season the Marlins had last year, it's kind of crazy to think they're going 79-83. But I really like their young pitching staff. Who they just signed? They just signed somebody. Jonathan VR, I think they just signed. So VR would be a nice pickup. Pretty sure it's VR. Correct me if I'm wrong. And I'm gonna go check that. VR with the Marlins. Because I don't want to be wrong on here. Jonathan VR. Yep, Miami Marlins. Don't test my knowledge, viewers. Come on. And then the 5 seed, I got the New York Mets coming with a 61-101 record. After almost a playoff run last year, man. That team is going to crap with their new manager, Luis Rojas. Beltran looked like a great choice for that squad, that young squad they have. They have some veterans and they have some young guys. They got Jeff McNeil, who had a breakout season last year. Michael Conforto, always reliable. Todd Frazier is playing like a mentor type of guy. P. Alonso, obviously stud home run hitter. But I feel like I've got that gut feeling, Got that gut feeling. So moving on to the NL Central, in first place, I have the Cincinnati Reds coming with a 97-65 record. The offseason moves they made this offseason were nuts. They got Mike Moustakas, Castellanos, making a lot of young guys. Aquino obviously came in last year with a home run surge. So, he's a great option. I like what the Reds are doing. Luis Castillo. So going to the number 2 seed in the NL Central, I have my Chicago Cubs going 87-75. I think the top 4 seeds for this division is going to be pretty competitive. Not insanely competitively good, just competitively mediocre, which is what we saw last year. So Cubs going in 87-75. Number 3, we have the Cardinals coming in just after the Cubs with an 84-78 record. They didn't make too many moves this offseason. Obviously, they lost Marcelo Zuna to the hit to the outfield, but they have Tyler O'Neill, who might make an appearance. And the number 4, I have the Milwaukee Brewers coming in with a record in 80-82. They made a lot of offseason moves with their jerseys and their rebranding, but not with signing players. I say this every year. Obviously not my podcast. This is the first one to my friends, people around me. The Brewers do not have enough pitching. Obviously, Josh Hader, best reliever in the league, without a doubt, in that bullpen, but their starters are just not enough, man, to get them through that. And the number 5 seed in the NL Central, we have the Pittsburgh Pirates coming in with a record of 55-107. Obviously, like I said previously, Josh Bell, I don't think he's going to have nearly as great of a year as he did in 2019, and just not enough talent on that roster, man. So going into the NL West, we have the 1 seed, obviously the Dodgers. I have them coming in at 110-52. I might as well make that 120-42 because I made this before the Mookie Betts news. I'm like, come on now, it's Mookie Betts, one of the best players in the league. So, the Dodgers team, there's no way they're winning the World Series. There's no way anyone's beating them. They're making the World Series. They're going to win it. Unless some cheating, scandalous team comes and beats them again for the 3rd year in a row, which I think would be quite hilarious. Watching the Dodgers fan lose. And in the number 2 seed in the NL West, we have the San Diego Padres coming in with a record of 99-63. I have them being the first wild card seed in the NL West. And with that young roster, Tatis, Machado, I think is going to have a nice year. Tommy Pham, they just made a trade for him. And they got a decent pitching staff. Chris Paddock, obviously great last year. I like what the Padres are doing with their team. And with the number 3 seed in the NL West, we have the Arizona Diamondbacks coming with a record of 84-78, coming off a nice season last year with Ketel Marte. They just added Starling Marte and Madison Bumgarner. Not too much good, not too much bad. It's pretty average, the Arizona Diamondbacks. So coming in with the number 4 seed, I have the San Francisco Giants coming in with a record of 69-93. 69. I'm so hilarious. But didn't make a lot of offseason moves, no headliners. I thought they were going to go out and maybe get a pitcher because the Giants normally, they're not all about winning, but apparently they want to stay young. They want to maybe get a nice draft pick. So, but I like Mike Yastrzemski. I like him. Number 5, I got the Colorado Rockies, man. 56-106. One of the worst records I think I have here. Let me go through all the teams. They're the 3rd worst team I have on here. 56-106. Nolan Arenado, he's going to get traded. Whether it's now or the All-Star break. And that pitching staff, obviously it's Colorado, hard to pitch in. But, it's never Rockies. Never good for the Rockies. So, moving on to the AL, we have the East. Obviously, the number one seed is going to be the New York Yanks, coming in with a record of 105-57. They didn't make too many moves, but of course they got the blockbuster deal of the number one free agent this offseason, number one pitcher in the league, Garrett Cole, who I'm going to be taking number one overall in my fantasy league. That roster, Gleyber Torres, Aaron Hicks. I like Aaron Hicks. Aaron Hicks is nice. Aaron Judge, got a lot of AA-Rons. And that pitching staff, man. Severino, Paxton, in the bullpen. It's just nice. You got Adam Ottavino. Solid roster. It's great all around. There's no aspect of the Yankees where they're lacking, on top of everything. Especially with that salary, though. Number 2, we have the Toronto Blue Jays coming in with an 88-74 roster. Obviously, they got Biggio, they got Bo Bichette, Vladimir Guerrero, just signed Hyunjin Ryu. This is one of my hot takes. Coming with an 88-74 record, making the wild card game. They're going to be the second wild card seed in that division. Let's go Blue Jays. And number 3, we have the Tampa Bay Rays coming with a 78-84 record. They just traded away Tommy Pham. They got Glass now, and they got Austin Meadows, but they're two guys can't carry a whole squad. So, it's like Mike Trout, man. Mike Trout and Ohtani. Two guys aren't going to carry your squad. You got to have a nice team all around. So the Rays, 78-84. The number 4 seed in the AL East, I have the Boston Red Sox coming short behind, one game behind them with a 77-85 record. I'm going to Fenway this summer. I'm also going to Yankee Stadium. I don't think I'll see too many great games, especially with the departure of Mookie Betts, that trade. 77-85. Number 5 seed, I got the Baltimore Orioles. Nothing too good with them this year. They drafted Adley Rutschman, but I don't see him making the MLB for at least another 1 or 2 years. 61-101. I'm going to speed this up a bit, running a little long. We're just over 30 minutes right now. And I don't want to make this drag on forever, but, I can't make it too short. So for the AL Central, I have the Chicago White Sox coming with an 87-75 record. It's going to be exactly like the NL Central. It's going to be competitively mediocre. White Sox, 87-75. With the 2 seed in the AL Central, I have the Minnesota Twins going 85-73. That Twins roster broke the record for home runs, I'm almost positive, last year. The baby boomers. Well, that's the Yankees, but I think they're the baby boomers. And the Bronx boomers, bombers, whatever they're called. But they're like the Twins are like the bootleg Yankees, They got a small salary. They can't work with everything. They're not playing in a massive market in Minneapolis. But, they did what they could with their money, and they did well. They spent well. They got Donaldson, stud. Kenta Maeda might be a sleeper. So, look what they're doing. Number 3 seed, we got the Cleveland Indians coming in with a 79-83 record. Exactly like the Marlins are. It's weird to think about. The Indians are going to be the same record as the Marlins. But the Indians lost Kluber, their ace guy. They lost Trevor Bauer last trade deadline. And it's that they don't have too great of an outfield, man. Their outfield, not full of amazing studs, but the infield, obviously, Jose Ramirez, beast. Francisco Lindor, beast. Not enough, in my opinion. Number 4 in the AL Central, I have the Detroit Tigers coming in a record of 74-88. Pretty bad. I'm not even going to go over them. And same thing with the 5 seed, the Royals, coming with a 62-100 record. Not too much to say. It's pretty bad. So AL West, last division I'm going over. I got the Rangers as the 1 seed, going 101-61. That's probably my biggest take, my most far-fetched take of this episode 1. But the Rangers, I like what they're doing, man. I just got that feeling. I'm saying it a lot. If they don't, they got a lot of upside. If they don't do well, then they don't do well. They get their pick, get a nice young prospect. But the Rangers, their pitching staff, Lance Lynn, Mike Minor, Corey Kluber, they're not massive guys, but they get the job done. That's all that matters. Joey Gallo, of course, the big power hitter. The number 2 seed, we got the Los Angeles Angels coming in with a record of 89-73, making the wild card game. Angels just picked up Anthony Rendon. Obviously, Ohtani's coming back this season. He's going to be limited inning coming off of Tommy John. Guy's a beast, and I like what they're doing. The 3 seed, we got the Houston Astros. I have them coming in with a record of 81-81. I think they're going to be pretty mediocre this year with the scandalous things going on. That meme will forever live on with the Houston Astros. The number 4 seed, I have the Oakland Athletics coming in with a record of 80-82. They made the playoffs last year. They lost in the wild card game, but they haven't done much. Marcus Semien obviously, and Matt Chapman and that infield. Matt Olson also are nice, but their pitching isn't enough. Frankie Montas, I guess, is decent, but it's pretty mediocre. And the worst team I have projected this season, I have the Mariners going 42-120. Austin Romine, he's alright, but the Mariners aren't going anywhere, man. Not going anywhere for a while. So those are my MLB preseason predictions. Let me know what you guys think. Do you like them? Do you not like them? I'll leave my Instagram and my Twitter in the description. You can always find me there, talking about baseball there. So, follow up. This has been my podcast. Have fun. Enjoy your night. Enjoy your weekend, guys. Say hi to Nips for me. See ya.